The funeral, a family affair. Fade in. Scrolling across a gray screen. Time, 1990s. Typewriter keys are clicking as the sentence progresses. There's a whir of a fan in the background and a voiceover. The story you're about to see is true, mostly. Sound of a carriage return. Only the names have been changed to protect the guilty. Return carriage sound. Camera pans down to the typewriter as the message is being typed out. Voiceover. Reading along as it is typed on the screen. Dear friend, this is to invite you to Mama's 104th birthday party. It will be held at the Senior Center in Tyler, Texas, March 26th from 5 to 7 p.m. Return carriage sound. Those of you that need a place to stay can spend one night with cousin Elijah at his bunkhouse. Carriage return sound. Please let us know if you can be there. Carriage return sound. Gifts are not needed, but Mama would appreciate donations to the family orphanage in Guatemala. Voice and sound of typing fade out. The sound of typing is replaced by the regular thump of tires on the expansion joints in the highway. The scene is a highway, the New Mexico mountains, and the siren is heard, and it becomes louder and louder. The camera pans from the sky and down to the ambulance, and then into the ambulance interior. Over the radio, paramedic. Emergency 1, this is Rescue 1. We're inbound with an elderly lady in respiratory distress. Age 103, about 89 pounds, blood pressure 105/67, pulse irregular, about 112, low-grade fever, appears alert and oriented but says she's very cold. ETA 15 minutes. Over and out. Roger that, Rescue 1. We'll advise ER. Grandma is seen lying on the gurney, strapped in for safety. She tries to say something through her oxygen mask but cannot be understood. She takes off the mask and asks in a weak voice, "Where is Buddy? Is it okay following us in his own car?" Paramedic, "Ma'am, I'm sure Buddy will be just fine. Here, you need to keep your oxygen on." Grandma nods and closes her eyes. The camera focuses in on Ethel DeClerc on the gurney. It stays on her, but then it begins bumping up and down. The siren winds down and the camera pulls back to show that Ethel is being unloaded from the ambulance. Paramedics begin taking Grandma out of the ambulance. The scene is the ER parking lot. A tall tan van moves up to the emergency room parking. A tall, thin man in his late 60s wearing a gray felt 10-gallon hat jumps out of the driver's side and starts towards the emergency room doors. The passenger door opens and May, lady in 60s, medium build, also thin, wearing a blue flowered dress, carrying a large purse, gets out. May DeClerc says, "Buddy, come help me," she says in her soft southern drawl. "They won't let you see Mama till they check her over." Buddy turns back and goes to the passenger side of the van and helps May get out. Buddy speaks in a rapid staccato, sometimes running words together. "Okay, May dear, it's just a hope that there's something they can do for her. Her 104th birthday party is just in 3 weeks, and we've made all the arrangements. We've even paid the rent for the senior center, and they don't give refunds." May says, "Don't worry, Buddy. She will probably pull out of this too. She has over and over again." Buddy DeClerc, "I know she's a strong lady, but she's kind of old. Maybe we could get the money back if we tell them she died." May DeClerc, in a soothing tone of voice, "Buddy, she's not dead yet." The camera swings to the gurney being taken into the emergency room. Fade out. Fade in. Mama is in a hospital room. Mama has an oxygen mask on, but she's still struggling to breathe. The beep beep of the heart monitor is rapid and slightly irregular. There are a doctor and three nurses in the room. The nurses are setting up IVs, trying to get Grandma comfortable, etc. The doctor is beginning by an examination. Buddy pushes into the room, followed by May. Buddy, how's she doing? She didn't eat much this morning. She was having trouble breathing. What is it? Is she dying? We were planning a 104th birthday party in a couple of weeks. Is she going to make it? Can you make her get well enough to go to her birthday party? Doctor, sir, it looks like she has pneumonia and she is pretty old. We will do what we can for her. Now you need to go out to the waiting room for a few minutes while we get your mother settled. Then I will come out and talk with you. The doctor ushers Buddy to the door. As they walk to the waiting room, Buddy grabs May's arm and he says, May dear, we need to call the folks. Gretchen and Mike are at the orphanage. We will have to get them on the ham radio. Maybe we can get Elijah to call the rest of them for us. Will you call him? There's a phone downstairs. May de Klerk. Okay, I'll take care of it, Buddy. Now you just sit here and try not to worry. They will do the best they can for Mama dear. Everything will work out just. Buddy cuts in. I'm going to stay here with Mama dear. You just go down and make the phone call. I want to make sure that I don't miss the doctor. If Mama cannot get well enough to do the receipts for the orphanage, I will have to do that. And you know how long that takes. Back to Mama's room. There is a murmuring between the doctor and the three nurses. The doctor is bent over Mama, listening to her chest and doing his examination. Miss Ethel, can you hear me okay? Ethel in a weak voice. Yes, I can hear you pretty good. I have my hearing aids in, but I hear better in my right ear. The doctor bends closer to the right ear. Okay, Miss Ethel, are you having any symptoms other than shortness of breath? Well, I am having a little trouble breathing and I'm a little bit dizzy. The doctor. Okay, we are going to do what we can to help you breathe better. I want you to try to relax. That will help you breathe easier and we'll get some medication right away. The doctor turns to the nurses. She has congestions in both lower lobes of her lungs. Her color's not that good. The pulse is irregular. Let's see. Do you have her history there? Oh, okay, thanks. Reading her chart. Her history says she has AFib most of her life. Turning to the nurses. Well, she's done well with that. Let's get a stat chest x-ray, CBC, start an IV with D5W, O2 at 6 liters, maybe 8 if she needs it, and let's see what we can do for this little lady. Two of the nurses leave the room to get supplies. One of them stays with Ethel de Klerk and the doctor. The doctor looks back to Mama. Miss Ethel, can you tell us how you're feeling? Are you having any pain? No pain, just hard to breathe. She gasps for air and speaks haltingly. No pain. Need to get well so I can do the books and then go to my birthday party. I'll be 104, you know? Doctor, yeah, that's great. 104. Wow. Well, let's get this stuff back to the lab and we'll see what we can do for you. The doctor walks out of the room, down the hall, irregular beeping of the monitor in the background. The camera follows the doctor to the waiting room. He begins talking to Buddy. The scene fades back to Mama's room. The camera focuses on Mama and then focuses on the monitor. The heartbeat is louder, then it stops, then flat line. Inside Mama's hospital room. The camera moves back to Mama, but now she has none of the machinery and she's covered up to her chin with a new white sheet. Buddy is pacing the room, talking rapid fire. May is sitting beside the bed, holding Mama's hand. She is quietly crying. They are alone in the room. Buddy, we have to call the funeral home. You know where Mom's insurance papers are? Well, what about Brody the dog? I guess we need to cancel the birthday party. It's only 2 weeks away. I need to call the folks in Guatemala. May, you can't do that here. You'll have to go home. Buddy, I know, but who's going to stay with her until the funeral home comes? Who's going to take care of the receipts for the orphanage? If we don't get them out, the money might quit coming in. Mama always did a good job with that. Where are we going to have the service? I guess we can take care of the service too. I can get help, and Leslie can help too. We need to get the word out to all the family. Fernie and the family will have to come from Alaska, and that will not be too hard. Might take them a week for Gretchen and Mike to make arrangements. Not that easy to get a flight from there in a hurry. And they're their California cousins. They will want to come, and George in North Carolina. May, trying to be soothing. Buddy, just take it easy. This does not all have to be done right now. Buddy, but what am I going to do without Mama? The word Mama echoes over 4 or 5 times, each time a little fainter than the previous time. Fade out.